Welcome to King Lizzard's Game Lounge and Forza Motorsport 7. So this is the game demo that went live as of September 19th, 2017. There are 3 races in here that we can do. There's a whole bunch of new additions that I'm going to talk through in this video, as well as give you my first impressions of Forza Motorsport 7 as someone that has put a heavy amount of my time, or my gaming time, into Forza Motorsport 5, 6, as well as Forzas of the past. Now, one of the first things you kind of notice in this demo is new additions like the driver gear, of which there are 24 examples of in this demo. Quite a few of them are relative to the track that you're racing on. Some of them are more obscure, like police outfits and astronaut outfits, but it's clearly Turn 10's step into the world of probably monetization in Forza Motorsport 7, I suspect. I'm hoping though that they've reserved the majority of these driver gears for players of the game to unlock through career or rivals, or maybe even online multiplayer. So watch this space for elite driver gear that's going to cost you a packet and rid you of any excess money that you may or may not have, coming to an Xbox Live Marketplace near you soon. First up is a race at a new circuit, Dubai. It's Dubai's full circuit. This is an extremely technical circuit. Obviously it's a welcome addition to the game, but it's definitely one of the toughest circuits I've driven in some time. And the first thing that I noticed in the settings for this game, I've gone in obviously to turn off all of the assists. I'm not driving manual, and the reason I'm not doing that is so that I can drive auto, just to have an easier experience really, but also out of interest to see how easy it is for me to beat the AI at its various hardnesses. So this is average AI I'm up against at the moment. As you can see, I'm instantly in second place here, so not much of a challenge for me at the moment. Obviously I haven't caught first place, but again, just like the last game, Forza Motorsport 6 and 5, there's always a car that gets ridiculously far off the front, straight off the grid. So that's a little bit worrying, especially on some of the hardest difficulties. If that's going to happen, it would be pretty impossible to catch a car like that in 2 laps, for instance, on some of the hardest settings, maybe. Now, the other thing I noticed in the settings was a new feature called friction control. Now, friction control obviously controls the friction of your tyres against your driving surface, but also against the elements on that driving surface, e.g. rain, or hot and cold weather, for instance. So obviously that will change the temperature of the track, which will also change your ability to stay on the track with friction. Now, the car they've given us to drive Dubai's full circuit is the Porsche 911 GT2 RS 2018 model. The previous models of this car are really tough to drive, and to be honest, this car is no different. It's actually a really tough car to keep on the track with assists off. I must admit, I can't say I particularly enjoyed driving this. I found it really tough. However, the one thing that stood out instantly for me was a much nicer sounding engine in the car, as well as some of the gear changes and stuff. It sounded a little bit more credible than previous Forza efforts. I found that with Forza Motorsport in general versus some of the other car games like Assetto Corsa and Project Cars, is that it falls flat a lot of the time with its engine sounds and stuff. They just don't sound unique or real enough. But with the cars that I've driven in this demo, or the vehicles I've driven in this demo I should say, I actually found all of those engine sounds quite nice to drive, and also quite realistic feeling. So it'd be interesting to see what the rest of the cars sound like in the game. They also turned on damage deliberately just to hopefully see a replay. Unfortunately, there are no replays in the game, so we're not going to see any replays in this particular video because the demo doesn't have them. They'll be there for sure in the final product. They've just not put them in the demo. Now, I don't know if you saw there where I hit that wall. I did a lot of damage to my suspension and stuff, so very easy obviously to damage the car. I'm feeling a little bit of traction difference now that I've done that. That wasn't a deliberate mistake, that was me just going into that tunnel a little bit too quick. It's quite a hard corner to judge that one. The AI is keeping up with me here, which is interesting. So as I said, this is average AI, and they're on my tail. So maybe there's some kind of intelligence in place that keeps the AI with me so that the race is at my pace. So as I get better, the AI gets better, or something like that. I don't know. Typically, I find that if the AI are average, I generally leave them for dead. So the fact that they're kind of hanging on the back there suggests me that maybe they've made some adjustments to the AI, keeping up with you in the interest of keeping race pace, interesting, if you like, so that you're kind of pressured not to make mistakes and stuff. Now this car is a real handful. I am driving no assists. I've got the friction control turned off. Steering is simulation. I've got no ABS. I've got no traction control. I've not got no stability management system. The only thing I'm doing here is I am deliberately driving automatic to see if I can outpace the game's AI at its various levels, and I'll continue to do that throughout the demo, just to see if I can beat, for instance, Pro AI on automatic. Now I'm switching through the various views here. There's quite a few views on offer. The newest one is this dash cam. I actually quite like the dash cam. It's something that we've seen, I think Drive Club was one of the first games to do the dash cam. Project Cars also had a dash cam view. I think Assetto Corsa also has it. But it's actually quite a good mode if you like to drive in car, and maybe in cars just that little bit too far back from the action for you. This just puts you that little bit closer to the road, and you can still drive in car and experience that in car feel. It's actually quite a nice view they've added there. I do like that. The bonnet mode, as usual, is there. Obviously, if you get a very reflective bonnet, this can be quite a tough mode to drive in. I know a few of my friends actually drive bonnet mode. They like that experience because it lets them see the most of the track. But at the same time, with the newer games where the graphics is just so much better, and you get the track reflection on the bonnet, it can be really disorientating sometimes, to be able to do that. So we're going to switch over to grill mode now. So grill mode, obviously generic mode, we see this in all racing games, and it's not the most exciting of modes. And then you've got two external chase modes, as well as of course your internal mode for driving. So end results there, managed to reel that race in. I'll be honest, I wouldn't say that was particularly easy. So I think if you're a novice driver and you find driving quite tough, you're definitely going to find driving that car at Dubai pretty tough. So the next race we get to do is at Mugello, and this time we're racing the 2015 Mercedes-Benz number 24 Tank Pool 24 racing truck. Real monster of a vehicle. There's 10 gears, and this was something that if you play Forza Motorsport 6 was available via the game's car pass, so it was actually paid DLC. So it's really cool to have this particular vehicle included in Forza Motorsport 7 as part of the generic set of vehicles at time of release. Now the thing I like about this number 24 Tank Pool 24 racing truck is that its engine sounds are quite unique. Also you really hear the gears and stuff as you shift through them, so it's quite a nice vehicle to see in the demo, just to give people a bit more of a flavour of the different types of vehicles they're going to see. Now switching through the various modes, I really don't like these external chase modes on these vehicles, especially that previous mode. That previous view was really tough to kind of see what was going on the track. This one's slightly better, although it's not fantastic. For me, it's definitely going to be internal when I'm driving a truck or any car in Forza Motorsport 7, to be honest. It's kind of the way to drive for me. I just find I get more of a buzz from it. It just feels a little bit more realistic, even though obviously it's just a game. So I'm racing this time in highly experienced AI difficulty, and I didn't get out straight away into the first two vehicles on the track, which is quite good, because obviously it's just proving it's that little bit tougher. I am racing with the same assists and stuff off. I've got that friction control off. I'm deliberately cutting up this vehicle because I want to see what the AI is going to do to me. Now the AI is actually driving into me from the rear. I'm actually accelerating. I'm trying to get away from it, but it's pushing me off the track. I've just managed to break free from that AI's grasp. So that tells me pretty much the AI is acting the same as it did in Forza Motorsport 6, because in the previous race I had a bit of tit for tat with one of the cars, and in this race that truck was literally just trying to drive through me, which is really frustrating, especially when you get into the higher hardnesses within the game, e.g. the more difficult AI, the tougher it gets to kind of break away from the AI. And in fact, in Forza Motorsport 6 I race with a big group of people that I know, not all of which drive as often as I do, and as a result they don't know the tracks as well, so they can't get around the corners and stuff as fast as they'd like. And when they're racing against some of the harder AI, or for them, you know, even sometimes average or, you know, highly experienced, it's difficult for them to race against, they were getting pushed off the track by the AI or driven through by the AI, taking them off the track and causing them to have accidents and stuff. And given what I've just seen with the reaction of that AI just now, I'm pretty certain the AI is pretty much the same, which is a shame, because they really need to do something about this AI. You know, for me, Grid as a gaming series had some extremely intelligent AI, and the Grid games are quite a few years old now, so I don't get why Turn 10 can't catch up with the AI intelligence that Grid had, you know, 3-4 years ago in Autosport or in Grid 2, or even most importantly Grid, the very first game, had some extremely advanced AI that would, you know, kind of let you race if you didn't smash into them. If you smashed into them, then they would give you some back, you know, they would repay it with interest. You know, the AI was passive aggressive as and when you treated it appropriately, and that's what I was hoping to see in Forza Motorsport 7. It's clearly not here at the moment from what I can see. Now, some of the other features obviously that have carried over from Forza Motorsport 6, we've got kind of that driver awareness. You can't see it here obviously because I don't have any vehicles near me, but when a vehicle is to your left, you'll see kind of an amber arrow to your left, or a vehicle to your right, you'll see an amber arrow to your right. Or if they're very close to you in the rear, you'll see an amber vehicle, you know, an amber arrow at the rear of your vehicle, which is good for awareness, especially when you're driving online, if you like to continue to drive in cockpit. So far I've actually managed to get a really good lead on this highly experienced AI, so maybe that catch up isn't such a thing. Maybe that was just me having difficulties with the Porsche in the previous race that allowed the AI to stay close to me, but I'm definitely leaving these guys for dead at the moment. I've got a whole U-turn on them at this point with highly experienced AI. So driving automatic again, as I said, with all of those assists off, so it hasn't proved too much of a challenge for me here. So first place in the bag there in the 2015 Mercedes-Benz number 24 Tank Pool 24 racing truck. Really cool drive, this vehicle. So if you're going to jump into anything in the demo, I'd suggest this vehicle is probably the friendliest out of the vehicles that are on offer in the demo, for sure. So next up, we're going to be jumping to Nuremberg GP. Obviously, this is a circuit we've seen in pretty much every, you know, majority of the Forzas that have ever been released, plus also a large portion of other games. Again, now with this race we've got progressive weather, so we're going to start to get some rain at some point, which is going to be interesting to see what that looks like. Currently driving dashboard view. This car is extremely quick with not a lot of brakes. I just managed to smash one of the AIs there. I'm getting hit up the rear here by AIs as well, and kind of antagonised a little bit as I try and get around the circuit. This car is a real handful without assists. It's extremely easy to spin out, and I'm really fighting not to do that at the moment because I'm getting a lot of contact from AI, and that is the worst, because that's the best time you're going to spin it out. If you just press the accelerator that little bit too hard, you're spinning or you're coming off track. Just managing to keep this thing on at the moment. Starting to get some rain now, a few raindrops, not looking too bad. There's that driver awareness arrows I was talking about in the previous race. You'll see those pop up the closer I get to the vehicles. A little too quick into that corner there. And you can see the awareness arrows around me, just to let me know that car was on my left. So I'm into 10th place here. Now I'm actually driving this at the hardest AI difficulty available in the demo, which is Pro. Now normally obviously there's an unbeatable mode of hardness in Forza Motorsport 7. It may not just be there because of the demo, possibly. So I suspect it's very much there in the release game. So the rain is really tipping down now, getting some really nice kind of spray back effect on the car. Really like the weather effects here, looking pretty cool, and the rain is actually making a big difference to the way my car's handling. I can feel the slightly deeper puddles grabbing the car as I'm hitting some of the corners. A little bit too fast into that one there, tapped in again. But really heavy rain here, looking pretty impressive. And obviously the track started to fill out with, you know, water on the surface and stuff, so it'd be interesting to see how that progresses in, you know, what's the word, longer races and stuff. For me, this rain has gotten on the track really quickly for the 2 laps that I'm doing, but maybe that's something to do with the day-night cycle that it's, you know, kind of giving us, if you like. It's speeding things up because it's such a short race. Be interesting to see how progressive that is on, for instance, a 10-lap race or something. But a really nice effect regardless, and I can, as I said, really feel this on the car. It really is making my life pretty tough, keeping this thing under control. Excellent bit of lightning there. Didn't anticipate getting some lightning, so that's quite cool. And then into this corner, just managed to keep her. So I'm into the 2nd lap here. I'm having a real fight for 3rd place here with this Corvette. Bit of tit for tat going on. I've got obviously Aston Martin in front of me there as well. Car both these cars we're well familiar with. They've been in the Forza series for quite some time. Squeezing through the middle there, real battle going on between these AI cars. Haven't lost them yet, that's for sure. See if I can get through these next few corners without any errors and get a lead. No, I've got that Corvette. He's flinging on my left side there. So as I said earlier, as I'm racing these, I've increased the difficulty race on race. So in this instance, I'm racing against Pro AI, and it has actually taken me until this virtually, you know, the last quarter of the 2nd lap to get myself out in front. It's not been easy to achieve this, and this car is a real handful without assists. That said, this car also can be a bit of a handful with assists from my experience in Forza Motorsport 6. This car, like the other cars in this demo, all started out as paid for DLC in Forza Motorsport 6. So it's pretty cool to start having, you know, some of those cars become part of the normal catalogue of cars that come with the game. Now, from a first impressions perspective, you know, this isn't any less of the game than Forza Motorsport 6 was. So if you like Forza Motorsport 6, you're going to get better graphics, some better weather systems. You're going to get 700 cars. That's a good 200 plus cars on top of what we've currently got in Forza Motorsport 6. There's a whole bunch of tracks plus some new ones that we haven't seen before. So I think we're onto a winner here for Forza Motorsport 6. Handling model wise at the moment, it feels a bit tough to me compared to Forza Motorsport 6, where it wasn't quite as difficult. I think that new friction mode is definitely going to play a part. You can turn it on and off, but obviously it's going to mean the difference between getting leaderboard times and no leaderboard times. I like the aesthetic differences in the driver models, so you can choose your gear. I think that's a plus as well, and obviously a lot of people are into their customization of characters, so I think that's a win-win situation for most people. Well, I hope you found this useful. I'll be back with tons of Forza Motorsport 7 coming up on the channel soon. Take care, keep well, and keep watching.